You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. It is Thursday. We are recording. You'll hear this when it comes out. Don't get fidgety. It'll happen. Settle your pants down. We are a leaner, meaner podcast this evening. Instead of getting our typical 2+ hour show, we're going to do about maybe 1.5. So there's no time for you to listen to this rambling insanity that is my intro. It's time for the meat and potatoes. Let's go. Beef the Legend, Poot the Bard, the newly rebranded Ransom the Madman. That's right, if WWE can get rid of first names, so can I. And for those of you who didn't know, we have returning our Cruiserweight champion, who is the best damn Cruiserweight champ there ever was. We're coming hot off the heels of Elimination Chomper, where our very own Tiger Bomb Tom successfully retained his title, regardless of how it might have been done. There are some who may argue, well, he didn't successfully defend because he tied, blah, blah, blah. That's not the point. The point is the belt still sits upon the glorious waist of our illustrious champion, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Let's talk some Elimination Chamber. What you guys think?
Whether it's a poot dick or a mile, a win's a win.
That's right. Whether it's a poot dick or a tripod.
That's what we in the business.
There you go, a poot dick or a tripod.
That's what we like to call a cell phone in the business. No, Elimination Chamber. Honestly, I will throw this statement because I'm sure you guys. And I said this. Like when we were watching it, I was whelmed. I was very whelmed with it. I was entertained. I was sports entertained, but I was whelmed. Like it was like I don't feel like I wasted my time. Also, and I'm sure Beef will point this out in a good way, but I love the fact that WWE is keeping their non-Big Four pay-per-views nice and tight. They're keeping them nice and tight. They're not droning on. It's just about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, and they're out.
It was a very well-timed show. I will agree with you on that. It wasn't too much.
Right.
Sometimes WWE pay-per-views can seem like they're a little too much. This one hit, I feel like it hit the time right on the head. Sometimes when you swing a hammer, you hit a nail. Sometimes you hit a baby. This time they hit the nail. And I will also reiterate the statement. I agree with you again, Poot. I was whelmed as well. I wasn't underwhelmed. Definitely wasn't overwhelmed.
Right.
This won't be one of the Elimination Chambers for me that goes down in the Hall of Fame of Elimination Chamber pay-per-views, but I don't feel like I walked away from viewing it going, boy, I probably could have done something else with my time.
Yeah.
I think probably the best takeaway for me was the fact that they pulled the trigger and finally, within recent years' memory, have done something good and something successful with the Money in the Bank briefcase with the Miz cashing in. I'm very glad to see it because Miz as a heel champion is fucking entertaining for everybody. So
that's true. And Beef and I did have some conversation, I think, in the group chat about this. And I definitely want to get his take on it. That, I said to Beef, do you think he's going to take this into WrestleMania? Do you think we're going to have a Miz defending his WWE Championship at WrestleMania? And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Beef, you had said that you don't believe that's the case. You think that he's going to drop it back to Mcintyre in the Passing Lane pay-per-view that's going to be coming up, next month?
Passing Lane, I love it. It may not be McIntyre, it might be Lashley. It might be the three of them hot potato in the title. It may be the three of them in a match at WrestleMania. I don't know, man. Like, they got Miz with this whole Bad Bunny thing. And I get Bad Bunny. I really do. He's popular with the kids, and by God, that's a new demographic. Well, it's true, though. Like,
popular with all the chitlins.
None of us know who the fuck Bad Bunny is, which means that it's probably good business for him to be on TV.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
Because we're going to watch no matter what. We've been watching for fucking 30 years. We're going to keep watching no matter what. But these young kids have no idea outside of like memes. So like for them to go out and get somebody like Bad Bunny, I get it. But I don't think that he needs to be a focal point of WrestleMania. I don't think he needs to be in a title match. I don't think he needs to be in a match with a champion, although they did the same thing with Mr. T at WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I really think that, you know, they're probably going to get the title off of Miz, maybe as soon as this week against Lashley. And then, you know, it'll probably be going between McIntyre and Lashley. Or who knows? Maybe Lashley wins and Lesnar comes back and we get that Lashley-Lesnar match we've been hearing about for 5 years.
Did that not occur already?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, I thought at one point that they did face off. Oh,
Nope. They've just been talking about it like they're going to, and they've never fucking pulled the trigger because Lashley's hurt, or Lesnar's gone, or Lashley's in the middle of something. It's just, you know.
Or he came back and had nothing but Butterfingers for the first month, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm not gonna.
I'm
go
gonna
ahead,
say
Tom.
he came a long way. Yeah, I was gonna say he's come a long way since he first returned. 'Cause
for sure.
When he first returned, he was a drizzling pile of shit.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Like I'm sorry, not sorry. I wasn't impressed. Now I am.
Well, and the thing with the Miz victory and where he's going to go, I wouldn't listen. Number one, I'm here for it. Miz not only has put in his time, not only is constantly entertaining, and in the ring and on the mic. You know, is he the most dramatic in-ring performer in the world? From a technical standpoint, not necessarily, but from a storytelling perspective, he's gotten really good. Like, let's not undersell the Miz's abilities here. But the thing is, too, I could see them keeping the belt on the Miz up to Mania, and here's why. You whenever you threw out beef and you said, oh, that, you know, it could be Miz versus McIntyre, it could be Miz versus Lashley, it could be it could be all three of them. And I went, all three of them makes sense. Miz can entertainingly carry that belt as a shit-eating heel. And when they get to Mania, you have Lashley, you have McIntyre, and Miz in a triple threat match, right? Miz is there to eat the pin because Miz can eat the pins and still be legit.
No
you want to
chance.
keep.
You
want to keep. Let me finish my thought. If that were the case, and I'm just postulating this, I'm not saying definitely it's going to happen. I'm just saying that if they
Illuminati confirmed it's happening.
If it did happen, and Miz was there to eat the pin for either McIntyre or Lashley, it would keep Lashley and McIntyre, whoever didn't get the pin, looking strong because they never got pinned, and it would create a story going forward. Now, I know you probably have tons of reasons that I'm not machinating right now in my own head, and I'm interested to hear them. Please give them to me.
Yeah, there's zero chance that Miz has... Well, so let me say this. If Miz has the title heading into WrestleMania, McIntyre and Lashley will not be part of that feud. Miz is in a program with Bad Bunny for WrestleMania. You can put that in the books. It's likely going to be Miz and Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Priest. And again, hey, that's great because guess who's getting a big fucking rub is Damian Priest. Great, but yeah, they've been building that since the Royal Rumble. They're sure as shit not going to piss it away a month before WrestleMania on bad decision making. So yeah,
I gotta say I think you're half right. I don't think they're gonna have that match at Mania. I agree with Putin. I think the triple threat will happen because traditionally we get some sort. They're gonna have something. They're gonna have something big there for one of the big title matches, and I don't see them doing a women's triple threat match necessarily. So obviously Edge and Roman Reigns is going to be your one-on-one for the Universal title. I think you see a triple threat match with Miz, Lashley, and McIntyre for the WWE title. I think you get the Miz and Morrison tag team against Bad Bunny and Priest at fucking the left lane. So
Wait. Now
No chance.
that's
No,
a
that's
yeah,
okay.
they wouldn't.
I mean,
No. I might agree with Beef on this one, Tom, because they wouldn't want to, quote unquote, and I'm using, please do not take this as me, throwing all the praise at Bad Bunny here. I could see them, they would be foolish to waste that kind of exposure on Fastlane. They would.
Yep.
They would be absolutely foolish to do that because, like I said, we might not know who Bad Bunny is, but a shit ton of people know who Bad Bunny is. Beef is absolutely correct. Now, here's the thing. There is the possibility, the outside possibility, that Miz pulls double duty at Mania. I don't think that's likely. I'm not saying that, oh, yeah, this is a thing, blah, 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 blah. But, it's in the realm of reality. It's on the outskirts of it, but it's in the realms of reality because Miz would do that. He would do that for the company, and I think honestly he could pull that shit off.
Well, WrestleMania is 2 nights this year too, so it could definitely happen.
There we go. We keep forgetting.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
they won't do that either because double nights means double payday. If you see somebody working 2 nights at WrestleMania, that means they get 2 WrestleMania paydays. And
but then he'll take like another how many months off from like really doing anything like main event wise, and he'll be doing Miz and Mrs. press stuff or whatever. Like he's the utility man. He comes in whenever they need him. I mean,
yeah, but I'm talking from a financial standpoint. Like the WrestleMania payday is not a small payday. Like it's a big deal. It's why people want to be on WrestleMania so they can have that WrestleMania payday.
I get that, but I could see
they're not going to double up.
It.
I would almost guarantee that you will not see the same performer twice in one weekend in WrestleMania.
Oh,
I have a question. I have a question for Beef.
Huh?
So, if we're gonna assume that what you're saying is correct, that Miz is gonna face Bad Bunny at WrestleMania because, let's face it, Vince McMahon loves his celebrities at WrestleMania, even if he doesn't know who they are. If he knows they're a celebrity, then he gets a chub. So, if Miz faces Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, are you under the assumption that he's probably gonna drop the belt before Mania, so that him and Bad Bunny is just a regular match? Or do you think he goes into the Bad Bunny match as the champion? Whether or not he, A, defends the title against Bad Bunny, or whether or not Bad Bunny beats him for the title. What do you think the scenario is there? Do you think he's dropping it before? Or do you think he's holding on to it and going into that match, maybe even as like a non-title match?
So I don't see that Miz versus Bad Bunny is going to happen. It's going to be a tag team match. And if there is a God in heaven, it's going to be Miz and Morrison versus Priest and Bad Bunny. I keep reading his reports about Bow Wow coming, and I pray to God that they don't team up Bad Bunny and Bow Wow, because that would be the absolute worst idea in the world.
There's not enough. There is not enough people in the world. There's not enough talented wrestlers combined in the world to hide the flaws of those two if they're just by themselves in a tag match.
I have respect because I understand that Bad Bunny has been training.
Yeah.
So Bad Bunny, this is not like some fucking celebrity cameo like Snooki. This is like a guy who enjoys wrestling. He made a fucking song about Booker T, for God's sake.
Well, yeah.
So, he enjoys wrestling.
We made a podcast about wrestling. That doesn't mean we should be at Mania.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the man speak.
But we're also not the top-selling Latino artist of all time. So,
you don't know what I do on my Sundays.
My point is, yes, Pooh, you're right. There's no way in hell they should be tag teaming together. But I think that they're going to go a route like WrestleMania 1, where they had Hogan and Mr. T face up against Piper and Orndorff, where they have Miz and Morrison and Priest, 3 capable guys who can carry the match. And Bad Bunny, whether he's awful, whether he's great, who cares? He's going to be in the match, and that's what they're going to tout. As far as the title, you know what? I think that negotiations are still ongoing because I think that that's how big Bad Bunny's clout is right now, because when they bring in celebrities for WrestleMania, as of the last, 15 years, pretty much since the Attitude Era ended, if we're being honest, the celebrities they bring in are always just a touch off, just a touch past their prime. In some cases, way past their prime. So, but you look back at some of the greatest ones, the celebrities that they've had, they've been like important people for that time frame. I would argue that Bad Bunny is the most relevant celebrity that they've had in probably 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, I really believe
bold statement
that they are strongly considering having the title in that area. Now, yeah, I would rather see a title match, but again, the first ever WrestleMania, let's not forget, that belt was on Hogan. Hogan did not defend that belt at WrestleMania. Hogan teamed with Mr. T against Piper and Orndorff. So, if history is any track record, we know that they don't have to defend the title. It'll probably be defended.
So,
if we're being real, it's probably going to be between Lashley and McIntyre, maybe Lesnar if he decides to come back. But there's a chance it could end up like in a tag team match at the top of the card.
So are you postulating the idea that McIntyre and Lashley are going to have a match at Mania to see who's number one contender?
I mean, if they go that route, possibly. I don't know. Like, I do have a really hard time seeing them not have the title defense at Mania. I just with that being the prestige title, I just don't see it, man. Like, if Miz were Intercontinental Champion, oh my God, no, they would never. They would definitely put it in the middle of that tag team match. But being that this is like the legacy, like the WWE title,
right?
I think he's gonna drop it between now and Mania, if we're being real. And I'd love to see a triple threat match between him and Lashley and McIntyre. But at the end of the day, like I said, his spot in the card is set in stone at this point with Bad Bunny, be it a singles or a tag team match. So and that's fine. I think that, and honestly, I think that him winning the WWE title now is kind of his reward for this. Like, they're saying, okay, we understand that working with the celebrity at Mania, but that doing the celebrity match at Mania isn't the most glorifying thing in the world.
Right.
So here's a month and a half title reign,
True.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Ransom, do you have anything to add to this, or do you want to move on to weeklies?
To Elimination Chamber.
I was going to say, we really haven't talked about the show too much. We've just been talking about the title change.
That's fair.
Yeah. Elimination Chamber, the one thing I will take this away from Elimination Chamber, probably above everything else, is how many, and I don't have the roster in front of me right now. I don't know if Beef could pull it up because, or Poot, I don't know. I'm not in front of a computer. But how many old heads versus young, new, hot talents were in these Elimination Chamber matches? It seems like it was very
I'll pull it up.
lopsided.
It was a lot. I remember that being a big time bone I had to pick, especially with the Raw Chamber, man.
Wasn't it just AJ Styles?
Okay, here, really quick, I'm gonna run down the rosters for the Elimination Chamber here.
Yes.
In one, you had Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, King Corbin, and Sami Zayn, all arguably, and obviously it's kind of walking the line there, no offense with Daniel Bryan. He's not old, but he's been around the block. So you have a bunch of people who are still quote-unquote new, okay? The other one, on the other hand, was Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and Sheamus. The only one that's really in there that you could consider young would be McIntyre, because he's still in the zeitgeist of WWE, still pretty new and fresh. And not slighting anyone else, not slighting like the age of people, but like in the sense of you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The first list you read off was I'd say a good list.
Yeah.
Not old head heavy. I will disagree with you though on the second one. I considered and this has nothing to do with age, it has everything to do with time in WWE. I consider AJ Styles the new guy in that, because Drew McIntyre has been in WWE. Sure, there was a break, but he's been around in WWE for a while. He was the chosen one. He was 3MB. Now he's back as the Scottish Claymore-wielding, stage-stabbing big dude. So he's not a new face in WWE. It's a new gimmick for him, new-ish. He's been doing this Scottish psychopath thing for a while.
But
I don't see him as a new guy. I see him as he's a legacy guy because he had been in WWE for a while. He's getting a fresh championship run because he had never been champion before. But as far as like, I lump him in with guys like Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. They might not have been in the same chamber, but like, yeah, I lump him in with those guys. I don't see him as a new young up-and-comer as Drew McIntyre.
And here's what it comes down to. And I thought this was super apropos because we're all using the word whelmed. And I thought it was a good a B pay-per-view. Not a B plus, not a B minus, but it was a B pay-per-view, which at the end of the day, hey, it's entertaining. But Mick Foley shared a picture the other day, just yesterday, in fact.
I think Tom just shared that in our chat just now.
I did.
The 2000, I think it was 2009 versus today.
Yep.
And like you look at the two pictures and you're like, wow, all of those people are still here. And you would think that kind of longevity would make you go, wow, there are some really great stars, but there really aren't because they've burned so much time with Cena, with the failed Reigns experiments, with Lesnar, and again, I love Lesnar and I love what he's done, but I mean, at the end of the day, when we're looking at the talent that's here now, he's not here now. So they've spent the better part of damn near 2 decades, and I you can go back even further to the I think it was 06 Rumble, maybe sometime in that. But bottom line is, it's been about 10, 15 years of these guys that are, quote unquote cutting through.
Yeah.
It's stale and like there's no new faces and everything's old and the new faces that come up get swallowed up in mediocrity. I mean, God bless the SmackDown chamber because they tried and it was the more entertaining of the chambers. Guys like Cesaro was always going to be outstanding. Daniel Bryan, you know what you're getting with him. Owens, the list goes on. Even guys like Uso, who's not a singles guy, and Kevin Owens, or fucking Corbin, who people like to shit on, but that dude's done some fucking work.
He has.
Oh, yeah.
He really has.
They, the SmackDown chamber tried, but at the end of the day, we all knew because of the situation with SmackDown, we all knew that Roman Reigns wasn't losing that title by hook or by crook. Roman Reigns is not losing that fucking title prior to WrestleMania, and probably not even at WrestleMania. Who knows?
But they tried. The thing that feels good about that, though, as a side note, the thing that feels good about Reigns, us going, oh, Reigns is not going to lose that belt. It's not because he's had the belt for 2 years. It's not because it's like, oh, they're shoving Roman down our throats. It's because he's had the belt for a good span of time, and this character is working.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, they're finally doing something that is working with him.
Yes. It's something that we actually want to see. Like, I want to see Roman be a fucking cocky Samoan tribal chief dickhead to everybody. I like it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I could do without the tribal chief thing, but like, yeah, the cocky upstart, the guy who's like, hey, you know what? Like, you can say that I'm an up-and-comer all you want, but I've been here for 6 years. At the end of the day, assuming that Roman Reigns doesn't get popular and leave for movies, which I don't see happening. I mean, I like Roman and all, but his chops only go so far. I think he could be one of, if not the most decorated champion of all time, or at least the guy that we remember in a lot of WrestleMania main events. Because let's not forget that he was a part of the WrestleMania main event in WrestleMania 31, 32, 33, 34. I think he skipped 35. He was supposed to be there last year at 36, but pulled out like 2 days before the event.
And well, if nothing else, he's at least right now currently in the conversation for that.
Yeah. And my only complaint with everything Roman Reigns has nothing to do with his character. It has everything to do with WWE production quality. Is he's going the very like Jake the Snake promo-esque, like very soft-spoken, sort of menacing volume with his speech, but they need to fucking turn down that piped-in crowd noise because I have a hard time hearing him when he's talking on SmackDown, and I want to listen to what he has to say. So
yeah,
but the bottom line is,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say the bottom line that I was getting at is that people cling to this idea of nostalgia. Like they want their Steve Austins, and they want their Ric Flairs, and they want their Shawn Michaels, and they want this, that, and like if
yes,
you know that picture, you know, just drives home that point. They want what's comfortable, or WWE thinks that they do. I think, and that's why I think that ultimately they're set up for failure because they're not looking towards the future, they're looking towards the past, and that's going to bite them in the ass at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing that I will take away, I think, from this Roman Reigns storyline, the negative thing for me is going to be how much better it could have been if they would have pulled the trigger on this heel run back when he was feuding with The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Face Roman Reigns saying to The Undertaker, "This is my yard now." That didn't do anything for me.
Right?
Nothing. It did nothing for me.
The only...
If Roman Reigns would have been the heel that he is now and stood in that ring and said, "Undertaker, this is my yard now." With this heel character, I would have 100% believed it, and I would have totally been in for Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. And to tell you the truth, I would have been rooting for Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Because I would have said, damn it, he is such a great heel. And he's using Undertaker's own "this is my yard" reference against him. And if he takes it from him, damn it, Roman Reigns will be unstoppable. But instead, we had that stupid face Roman Reigns saying, "This is my yard now." And it did nothing. It's
Hold on a minute, because that infamous, like, "this is my yard," that happened the night after WrestleMania, the night after he beat The Undertaker.
Yeah.
To a chorus of boos, like the place, and he was standing there.
Not to just a chorus of boos, but to a chorus of the crowd calling him a fucking pussy.
Yep.
And fuck you, Roman, etc. He stood there for like 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, easily.
And like soaked it in.
That was the best part of that whole feud between the two of them. And to further on Ransom's point,
easy beef.
Hold on.
Let him finish.
Beef. The best part of the
I wasn't finished though.
That was so sad.
Aw.
Wasn't finished.
The only thing I wanted to add to Ransom's point was that he might not even have said, "This is my yard." He might have said to The Undertaker, "This isn't your yard. This is my island of relevancy, and you're on it." But go on, beef.
Great point. Anyway, no, he like when he said "my yard" now, like, yeah, I think that the wheels were in motion maybe to do the heel turn, but wasn't it right thereafter, or pretty close after, where he ended up coming down with leukemia again?
Yes.
And
I don't remember the timeline. It could have been.
And so he disappeared.
It was sometime after that.
He disappeared quickly thereafter, and then, like, obviously, when you come back after beating cancer, you're not going to be, a bad guy. Yeah. So, like, they had to wait for the perfect time, and I think that they did.
You make an excellent point on that. You do.
I feel like they could. I agree with Ransom in the fact that they could have and should have probably done this sooner, even regardless, like, of when the whole "this is my yard" quote happened. Like, Beef's right, it did happen the night after Mania, but still, like, it would have made for a more entertaining story going in between Taker and Roman, and regardless of how soon after, Roman had to leave because of the leukemia and everything like that, They still could have gotten they still could have gotten a good heel run out of him.
Well,
and yes, I mean it's that's something that would have been unforeseen. Like him leaving because of leukemia and stuff like that. But get the heel run in there, and yeah, he comes back and he's naturally going to be a face, but it still didn't take that long before everybody was right back to booing him.
Well, no, and that's fair, but the point remains he would have had that good little heel run with Taker, would have been a good story. He would have, he went away with leukemia, comebacks, being a face. He would absolutely be a face. The thing is, how do you then make him a heel again? He would have to do some serious nefarious shit to make people boo him in a proper heel way, not booing him because he's Roman Reigns. Like that's the difference, is like the heat that's coming at him right now is exponentially more satisfying because it's proper heel. Like people are buying into it because they're like, yes, this is what we have been wanting. You know what I mean? Like this is what we've wanted. We're finally getting it and we're in on it. Like, we'll cooperate on this one because we like it. But now, to be fair,
this momentum. Go, Poot.
It's good. Go ahead.
Pivot. No, I was just going to take the momentum about Roman Reigns and pivot into the WrestleMania discussion with him and Edge. Like, what happens? Who goes over?
Edge.
What do we do with it?
Edge has to.
Oh,
I would.
Man.
I don't know. We'll have to postulate that for another time because if we want to keep it tight tonight.
Well, I was okay.
I'm just saying.
Beef, what were you going to say about Mania there, Beef?
I just think that it's a good time because we're talking about Roman Reigns, so I think it'd be a great time to have a discussion about it. Honestly, I believe that this is not the time for Edge to win. Edge may get the title, but I think if you're going to capitalize, and so here we are talking about what mistakes they've made with Roman Reigns in the past, how they should have turned him heel, yada yada yada. I think a mistake right now would have him have him losing to Edge. I love Edge. Again, he's a top fiver for me. He's a guy that'll go down in my top 5 of all time. But at the end of the day, him winning is not going to help the product. And I think that Roman Reigns beating Edge does a hell of a lot more for Reigns versus Edge beating Roman Reigns and saying, hey, I beat Roman Reigns, like, congratulations, and now you're off to the Hall of Fame again. Versus Roman Reigns saying, hey, I put down a Hall of Famer. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong. I mean, the more I think about it, like product wise, it makes sense. But what do you also always say? You got to send the fans home happy. And what happier story do you have than Edge coming back, basically out of retirement to win the Universal title? Like pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, the only title he hasn't held. I don't know if he was the United States champion or not. I have the shirt. I should be able to find it.
He was.
They're kind of at a crossroads because if they put the belt on Edge, how often is he going to defend it? Is he going to want to be full-time? Are they going to do the Lesnar kind of thing with him? Like, there's a lot of, like, factors after the fact. Sure, it'll make for a good moment, and a lot of people will sit there and go, they'll have the la, la, la moment of, like, the kind of like storybook moment for Edge. And to be fair, he did, one to close. He's one of the few men in history to do that, to be booked that way. Like, so I wouldn't put it past WWE putting the belt on him. And they've done it before where they'll have that moment so they can get it, have a nice, flare up in the media and having people talk about it and want to watch Raw to see what happens, but they'll very quickly take the belt off them. They won't give them a, multi-month run. You get what I'm saying? They'll get the moment, and Edge can deliver, but it's just kind of like, I like the idea because right now we're basically going, are we going to get the quick pop, the quick investment, the quick amount of money, or are we going to keep it on Roman and really, really dig into this heel thing and try and book something long term?
Yeah, this one's going to be hard for me whenever it comes to picks, because I can definitely see both sides of the argument, and I don't know which argument wins in my own head. Like, you're not wrong when you say, and Beef has said it before, WrestleMania, you want to send the fans home happy. And again, what better way to send the fans home happy than to have a legend like Edge come back from a career-ending injury to win that title? When I think about it, I can't think of a time that it's happened since HBK. HBK had the career-ending back injury. He came back for what we thought was going to be a one-off with Triple H, and they wound up putting the big gold belt on him. Again, the only belt he didn't win. So that screams to me like this is an exact repeat of what they did with HBK. Only HBK's wasn't at Mania. But Poot, you're right. When they did it with HBK, it was that great feel-good moment. Our hero comes back, vanquishes the bad guy, wins the only title that he's never held. We loved it, but he held it for a cup of coffee, and then he never held it again. So do we say, okay, we want to send the fans home happy? What better way to do it than to have our returning hero Edge come back from a career-ending injury, vanquish the villain, and hold that big belt up, the only belt he had never won, and then what? Like in a couple months, is he going to lose it again? Is he going to go back to Reigns? And at that point, does that hurt Reigns more than it helps him? Or do we say, look, they've invested so much into this Roman Reigns character, this heel, this head of the table. It doesn't make sense to take the belt off of him now, to give it to Edge for a cup of coffee, and then either go back to Reigns or go to somebody else. That just hurts Reigns in the short term and I think in the long term. So it's a very double-edged sword that I think WWE is walking at this point.
Yep.
And I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good exit strategy, if we're going to be honest, the way that everybody can be happy. I think you have Edge get his moment at WrestleMania. You have him beat Reigns. You have him win the Universal title. Hell, you give him the Sunday spot, man. Sunday spotlight, WrestleMania main event. He's earned it. Going 1-30 in the Royal Rumble, man, like, fucking A. Have him come out on SmackDown, like fucking teary-eyed, being like, this means so much to me. I can't believe at this stage in my career that I'm able, and have him just get fucking obliterated by, somebody. Be it Karrion Kross, for example, or fucking Ozilla, Bronson Reed, or maybe one of these guys from the fucking Performance Center, this fucking Parker Bordeaux, or Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner's kid, Rick Steiner. Like, you want to talk about making a guy night fucking one. Have Edge come out on SmackDown with the big weepy eye, man. I'm so happy. And just have him get demolished. Laying in a puddle of his own blood, twitching. And this big behemoth dude just standing over top of him, being like, you're fucking done, man. Now is my time.
Do you see any possibility where they use that same scenario, except they substitute a big beefy guy for, a main roster debuting heel Adam Cole?
Ooh.
I thought about it, but I don't think it would have the same impact. And I even thought about maybe doing the same thing like with the Undisputed Era, because, again, WWE pretends that NXT doesn't exist. So, like, even though the Undisputed Era is going through their shit right now, at the end of the day, they could, easily reform on the main roster with no problem. It wouldn't have the same effect. I just, and so the one thing that kind of sticks with me is when Edge was down in NXT and he was talking to Balor and Dunn about who he was going to pick, and could be one of those guys. As he was leaving, him and Karrion Kross had an interesting development in the parking lot that just makes me think. That's a little bit of a maybe long-term booking. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's absolutely nothing. Just trying to give a guy a rub just from fucking Edge being a superstar. But man, Like, how smart would that be if it was just a little bit of a thing they put in our ears, and then fucking 3 months later, he's the guy that like ruins our, our fucking hero, you know?
The only problem I see with that is that Cross just got back, and I don't see them fast tracking him to the main roster that quickly, especially since he never really lost the NXT title, and I think they would want to have him have another go at it.
Look at McIntyre or Keith Lee for that matter. Like, McIntyre was in NXT for a cup of coffee. He won the title. He lost it real quick, and then boom, main roster. Keith Lee was on NXT for a long time, finally won the title, and then lost it after 3 months, and then boom, main roster. Now, obviously,
but Drew McIntyre is a different story compared to Karrion Kross.
Oh my God, all right? That I disagree with you, man. I think Karrion Kross is every bit the entertainer, every bit the showman, every bit the. I think that he is on par with Drew McIntyre. Karrion Kross is.
I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm saying it's a different situation because McIntyre had been there before, like we were talking about, old heads versus new heads and stuff like that. McIntyre has been there. He's done the main roster thing. He was Vince McMahon's chosen one. He was relegated to 3MB. He left. He came back. They know that he's already had that quote unquote main roster experience. So I feel like that's why they were able to fast track him like they did. So I'm saying that's a completely different situation than Karrion Kross and his current WWE tenure. I'm not saying one is better than the other. Not comparing entertaining or anything like that. I'm just saying they're two different situations.
All I'm saying, and I may be fantasy booking it, I don't know. But all I'm saying is right now, Karrion Kross is so far away from the NXT title picture. And even though he looms as the specter of death over it, saying, hey, you know what? I could come back and get my title at any time. They're booked up for the title pretty much solid, at least for the next 3 or 4 takeovers. Between O'Reilly and Dunn and Adam Cole, they got people. I don't know that they're going to put that title back on him. I really feel like, and again, I just know that he's the prototypical Vince McMahon dude. He's a guy that's big, he's jacked, he looks like a monster, he fights like a monster, and it doesn't hurt that he's got the smoke show with him. So that there, I think is Vince McMahon's dream guy. And does it hurt that he was not a Vince McMahon creation? It does. It definitely does. But I think at the end of the day, even Vince McMahon couldn't fucking pass that up.
Mm-hmm. I think no, and I agree with you. I think there's all the money in the world in Karrion Kross. And I honestly, and I'm not trying to put my mouth on trouble here. I'm really, really not. But I think you would have to actively. There are 2 people in NXT that I feel like you would have to actively fuck with. Like literally purposefully put them down. And that would be Karrion Kross and Adam Cole. You would have to actively bury them. There's no accidental mishandling. There's no accidental booking. There's no accidental anything. You have to actively put them down. You know what I mean? And I understand you could make the argument that we said the same thing about Finn Balor. However, Finn Balor, I just don't, because he was such a smaller guy. But the thing was, if you watched this week's NXT and you saw the segment with Adam Cole talking about, the situation with Undisputed Era, literally, I was sitting there and I was having to convince myself this was not Shawn Michaels. And I hate to keep equating it.
Yeah.
I hate to keep equating him to Shawn Michaels because I want Adam Cole to have his own legacy. I want Adam Cole to have his own stamp, but you can't help make those comparisons because the man, there's so much of Shawn Michaels in him, in his mannerisms, in how he delivers lines, in how much emotion he puts into everything, the whole 9 yards. So that's my point, is that why, I was saying, if there's any fear about Karrion Kross coming up and them screwing him up or him being called up too early, Karrion Kross is ready for that. And long story short, and I'm kind of rambling and I apologize, but like, I kind of agree with Beef. Like, I mean, he is a Vince McMahon guy, but he's a Vince McMahon guy that is not just prototypical big beefy bitches. Like, he's more. And like you said, having the smoke show with him, that helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a detriment to compare him to Shawn Michaels. You know, it's not like we're saying he's the second Shawn Michaels. You're comparing him to one of the greatest of all time. You're comparing him to a man that Ric Flair, arguably a wrestler that many, many people consider the greatest of all time. Ric Flair has said on multiple occasions that Shawn Michaels is the greatest wrestler of all time. So to compare Adam Cole to Shawn Michaels, I think is just, you're just saying this is how good this guy really, really is. And I don't want to be the guy that, you know, says like, hey, we've talked enough about this, but before we do get into Stump the Champs, I feel like another big piece of news that we should at least touch on, whether it's quickly or whatever, is the fact that the former Big Show, who is now Paul Wight, has signed a long-term deal with AEW. Who saw that coming?
Nobody. Fuck.
Nobody.
You won't see it coming, but I'll promise you'll know.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Oh,
Yes.
dude, that was
Yiggity,
wonderful.
yiggity.
Do you guys know how long I've been saving that up? Since this was
Listen,
announced.
Well played. Well freaking played there.
Thank you.
I was shocked when I think Beef posted that, or I can't remember who. Somebody posted that in the group chat. I was floored. I couldn't believe that Big Show signed with AEW, but then the more and more I thought about it, I could see it. Because let's face it, WWE, in my opinion, has misused the Big Show for a long. They put him in some terrible storylines. They've really
diapers.
abused. Yeah, they've really abused the character. You know, I don't know about the actual man himself, but the character of the Big Show, when they went through that whole thing where he would slink down and he would cry, like, my Lord, this man should have been a giant, a demolisher, a man that nobody could put down. And I feel like they really abused that character. And if Paul Wight feels like he has still more to contribute, whether it's in ring or commentary or whatever, and WWE is refusing to use him, I say this is a smart move for him. Go to a company that will utilize you in the time that you have left. I mean, he's not the youngest guy there is. He's another one that I'm sure has a counter left on, whether it's a bump counter or just time in general in the ring. If he has more to give, and AEW is willing to use him and utilize him and give him that time, I say good for him.
Did you see the promo shots with him and like him standing next to Shivani? He looks fucking the best I've seen him since the Mayweather fight.
Shit! Yeah,
he looks very
Just
trimmed down,
in good shape.
and that's, first of all, that's good news because we all remember Andre fondly, but man, Andre was a mammoth, and like he ate like a mammoth, he drank like a mammoth, and he died like a mammoth.
Well, Andre and Yokozuna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing. A lot of personal demons there with those two because that's kind of who they were, and they had to kind of keep that. I'm not trying to belittle them, but like, you know, circus entertainer variety act thing going on. You know, that was their gimmick.
That was the order of the day back then too. They weren't treated as talent; they were treated as a spectacle.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Big Show has realized, hey, you know what? Like, this isn't my life. My life is my family. My life is my health. I'm, got to get right. So first of all, I'm glad that he's doing that. But yeah, man, AEW with another great signing. I'm excited to hear him on commentary. It almost makes me want to watch Dark Elevated because, like, we've seen Big Show's chops comedically, timing. Like, he's a smart dude. He's a funny guy. I look forward to hearing his commentary because I bet he brings a lot to the table. As far as
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Just real quick off of that, and then finish your point. I wouldn't be surprised if they're using him on commentary on this AEW Dark, whatever it is. I can't remember what you had said.
Elevated.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if they're using that to kind of cut his chops and groom him, and just to see what he has to offer. And if he does really well there, it really wouldn't shock me to see him come up to Dynamite and be a permanent fixture on their commentary booth. I have this feeling that they're going to use him on this YouTube show, see what he's got, groom him into what they want. I don't know who he replaces on Dynamite, but that wouldn't shock me. Someone who can talk like the Big Show talks, and like you said, Beef, has the knowledge, that would make a whole lot of sense to me.
And as far as being an active competitor, like, I mean, we've all had our fun with the Big Show, like the constant turning face, heel, the constant gimmick changes, like, and that's no fault of his own. So here's my only concern with this, is that AEW treads a very, very thin line between being the awesome, trendy, hip show that's bringing in guys that didn't get a chance to do what they wanted, but also kind of like Impact, where, you know, back in like the 07, 08, well, I guess 09, 10, 11 days, when they would bring in WWE castaways, be it Christian, Kurt Angle, D'Lo Brown, Mr. Kennedy, John Morrison, Elijah Burke. The list continues. The Outlaws. You know, all of these guys were signed to Impact at one time or another. And it just gave you the idea of WWE Light. I don't want AEW to be WWE Light. And I don't... They've done a good job so far of not doing that, of putting the guys that they're signing in, like, unique rules and focusing on their homegrown talent, with the exception of Moxley, because dude's a fucking star. You know, how are you going to not push him, you know? But, you know, I think they're doing good now, but I worry that this could be a trend, and I fear, but I want to see what they do with them first before I even, like, go down that road, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's always going to be a fine line, but, you know, like you said, you just there are guys that didn't get to do that were stifled creatively, you know, well, and hopefully hopefully AEW is able to better utilize them, so it's not WWE Light, so it's something, you know, better than WWE, or just like they've always made their mission statement for a long time, in an alternative to WWE.
Well,
so
I also like to see the fact that there are these guys that one would consider company men. Like, I would consider Show a WWE kind of company man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not being smart, saying he's doing this out of spite or whatever. He saw an opportunity and he took it. He was being shrewd. And, you know, and thinking about, you know, continuous business opportunities as he, you know, ages. And not saying that he can't still perform or deliver, but, you know, he was looking out, what's the future? These are the type of guys that you would consider WWE loyalists or company men who are seeing an opportunity in AEW, seeing an opportunity in potentially, maybe one day, if things keep going up for the alternatives, in Impact, in Raw, in Dragon Gate, in whatever, New Japan even. You know, not that New Japan is small, but, like, it's, you know, they're seeing these opportunities and they're taking it and they're going, yeah, not only will this be good for me, but this is where the industry's going. They're doing things interesting, and they're seeing the forest through the trees. They're not just going, well, Big Daddy Vinny will be mad at me if I don't do it, and then he's going to put me in a baby outfit and make me jump out of a cake. You know what I mean? Like... Right. They're they're turning into Droopy Dog, apparently, like, oh bother, like, oh no, I guess I gotta come back and make 15 heel changes now. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Droopy Dog is on point.
Yeah,
Wait,
fucking
could-
on point, Pooh. Damn.
What? Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it. You know,
It's official. Poot the Bard is now rebranded as Droop the Bard.
oh no, it's like elementary school all
You know,
over again.
I gotta say, droopy dog voice treads dangerously close to fat guy voice.
Well, I mean, they're
That's
kind
true.
of they're kind of
Murder.
similar. I've put on a couple pounds in my older age.
No, but my point is,
after you're done, I got one quick thing.
My point remains is that it's nice to see these guys who are veterans that you would consider WWE company men seeing where the industry's going and putting their faith in that, and then those companies also putting faith in them.
Mm-hmm.
Wild how that works out.
And to the one last thing, I will say that I think where AEW will succeed and not turn into WWE Light is the fact of what they're doing right now with their cross promotion stuff with Impact, with New Japan and stuff like that. Because until Vince McMahon is dead and gone, I don't think you're ever going to see WWE do any sort of cross promotional stuff like AEW is doing right now. AEW is doing what some would say is revolutionary right now, but it's a callback to the past, in all honesty, because it's what people did during the territory days. So it's until Vince is gone, I don't think you're ever going to see WWE doing what AEW is doing. So that is one thing that no matter how many former WWE guys they bring in, whether they're old heads, new heads, anything like that, AEW won't turn into WWE Light.
So yes, I agree with you there. And not to move the ball forward here on purpose, but it is kind of a little on purpose. Breaking news. I've just been informed we have 2 Stump the Champs questions.
Oh,
We should probably get into that. Let's see how fast we get through the first one. And if we get through the first one quickly, maybe we could do 2.
All right, well, let's... I'm sorry, go ahead, Pooh.
Nothing. Go on. No, everything's fine. You go ahead, Beef. Do your thing.
Oh.
No, go
Okay.
do your thing. You're fine.
All right. So our first Stump the Champs question comes to us from our buddy Pat, the Bastard Pat, formerly known as the Midcard Maniac. All right, so he says, so I thought I had it with Fastlane, but I was wrong. So the show Charmed featured an episode where 2 of the sisters had to wrestle demons played by professional wrestlers. There was also a wrestler bodyguard on the outside. Who were the 3 wrestlers featured in this episode?
oh my God! I swear to God, I just heard about this recently.
Now, I want to just say this real quick. I'm not usually one to shy away from questions. I'm usually the one that's like, hey, it's a question, fucking answer it, idiots. However, I feel like this is less of a wrestling-related question and more of a Charmed television show question. We know wrestling. We know wrestling pay-per-views and things like that. This one seems sketchy to me. Just going to say that.
Okay, duly noted. However, I will put this out there. Being that time frame, what with Charmed, Buffy, and Angel. By the way, if you've never watched Angel before, do yourself a favor and watch Angel. It's a really great series. So I will say this, that time period of TV, normally it was WCW guys. So I will say this,
Wasn't Charmed early aughts though?
It was. It was.
So WCW wasn't around in early aughts.
Yeah.
Charmed wasn't early aughts, was it?
Yeah.
No.
I think it was late 90s,
Was it
early odds.
late 90s? Well, when did WCW die? It was what, 2002?
2001.
Was it 2001?
Yep.
Yeah.
It could have been right on the cusp. I
I'm
mean,
just
WCW
saying.
still could have been around at the time.
All right, listen. I actually had the exact same thought as Ransom. How much of this is wrestling knowledge? How much of it is just bullshit knowledge?
It kind of is walking that. It has one foot on either side of the line.
Right. I mean, oh, excuse me. I just want to say this. I think this question runs a dangerous line because how many wrestlers have appeared in random television shows? Good Lord, God. Steve Austin appeared on multiple episodes of Nash Bridges. Are you going to ask me what episode Steve Austin appeared on Nash Bridges? No, that was, good Lord, how long ago? You know, freaking The Rock appeared on an episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Really?
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. Shit,
well,
really?
I'm a Star Trek nerd, so,
wow.
You know, my bad. But all I'm saying is...
Vader was on Boy Meets World.
Right.
That okay. I do remember.
So,
he played the one kid's dad.
In any rate, this...
Frankie Stechino.
It seems sketchy at best, just because it seems more random television show question than it does wrestling question.
I have a solution. Why don't we table the Bastard Pat's question? And here's what we'll do. We will take the other question. If we do not get it right, since we're saying, okay, let's just I'm throwing this out there. Well, I'll leave it up to the consensus. Since this question is of a questionable genre of question, right? We're all in agreement on that. This is more TV trivia than wrestling trivia. It's TV trivia that involves wrestlers. So let's put this out there. Why don't we say we'll go for the second question, right?
Okay.
If we get the second question correctly, we win this week. Or if we get wait, how am I trying to do this? I was trying to put it so like if we get the first question wrong, or the other question, God, what is wrong with me? The second question.
Use Pat's question as a prop bet.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
all right,
I think we should treat this like. I think we should treat this like an exhibition or a warm-up or spring training. Because it is a question, I don't feel it's a valid wrestling question.
Agreed.
I feel like that question should have been pre-screened ahead of time.
Well, I don't like to pre-screen the questions because then it gives me a leg up.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Well, that's fair. That's a fair point.
So, I think that we'll treat this like an exhibition. Again, this is just my thought. Treat it like an exhibition. We're not going to put a ton of thought or time into it. Again, sorry, Pat. But we're just going to say things that we think that it could be real quick and move on to Vapor's question. Is that something that's agreeable?
Why don't we just do Vapor's question first then, and then come back to this one?
Yeah, if we have time to come back to this one, let's do it since it's exhibition. Let's give Vapor's question the first go and see if it's a legit wrestling.
Okay,
I like it. Let's do it.
All right. Just trying to keep things moving along. Thanks, Vapor. Almost forgot to send in a question this week, so I'm gonna give a quick one that's not too complicated. We appreciate that. How many times has the WWE Championship changed hands at WrestleMania?
Oh, this has beef written all over it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wait, didn't we do this one already? Didn't we do this?
You're thinking of the Madison Square Garden, like Spectrum Sports.
Yes, yes.
All right, so Mania 1, flex him. Hogan had a title, we talked about earlier tonight. Hogan had a title in a tag team match, wasn't even up for grabs. 2 was Bundy. Hogan did not lose at WrestleMania 2. Hogan, WrestleMania 3. Hogan, I just watched this. Hogan was the champ, and he beat Andre, so he did not lose that the belt did not change hands at WrestleMania 3. I think. Yes, I'm certain. WrestleMania 4, Savage won the title in a tournament, so that is 1. WrestleMania 5, Savage lost to Hogan, that is 2. WrestleMania 6, Hogan lost to Warrior, that is 3.
Yep.
WrestleMania 7, Slaughter lost to Hogan. That is 4.
Okay.
WrestleMania 8, Flair lost to Savage. That is 5. WrestleMania 9.
We know that. No, twice in that event.
So that brings us up to 7. Yep.
WrestleMania 10.
If we're over, do we count that as a loss?
I think he's looking for exact amount.
Okay, so that's 2 there. So what number are we at?
That's 7.
We're at
That's
7. I'm counting on my fingers.
WrestleMania 10, Brett beat Yoko. So that was 8. 11. This is where I get fuzzy. That's this weekend's viewing is 10, 11, and 12. Was 11 the first of the Michael matches?
Wasn't
that HBK
11
Diesel?
I was gonna say that was, or was 12 HBK Diesel? No, 12 was Michael's.
12 was the Iron Man.
Yeah, 12 was the Iron Man, and Michaels won that one from Brett because Brett kissed the belt goodbye. Well, okay, so 11 wasn't that?
That was
wasn't
Diesel
that Diesel?
And Shawn.
Was it Diesel Shawn or was it Diesel Sid?
No, 13 was Diesel
which one?
Sid. WrestleMania 11. 11 was Diesel versus Shawn. Shawn won the Royal Rumble that year, and he was going to walk down the aisle with Pam Anderson, but Pam Anderson walked out with Diesel. Diesel was the champion in that match, and Diesel won that match, so that did not change hands that year.
Okay.
12 was the boyhood dream of Shawn Michaels. So yes, he won that one. So that is 9.
Wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. Michaels. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm with you.
13, I believe, was Undertaker Diesel? Sid.
13.
Undertaker Sid.
13. No, 13 was... Wait, no, 12, 13, wasn't that... wasn't...
No.
13 was Undertaker Sid.
Okay, so it was Undertaker Sid.
And Undertaker won. No, he...
Right.
Yeah, he won, but he was incumbent.
Obviously, he was the incumbent, so the belt...
No. Sid was the champion.
Okay, so then that's 10.
Undertaker beat Sid for the title at that WrestleMania.
That's right. Good call.
14 was Austin. The Austin era begins, so that's 11.
Against Shawn.
Yep. 15 was Austin versus The Rock. Is that right?
Yes.
And
The Rock was the
won
champion in that one.
Was he?
Rock was the champion and Stone Cold beat him. Because Rock didn't beat Austin until their last WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 19.
Yeah.
Yep, you're
it was
right.
the first time that Rock ever beat Austin at Mania, and Rock was the champion going into this one, and Austin beat him.
Yep, because it was against not the Authority, but it was against
the corporation.
The corporation.
Okay, so at WrestleMania 15, that brings us up to 11 now, correct?
12. No, it's 12.
Oof, this is tough.
Wait.
I'll run through them again real quick. Savage beat DiBiase WrestleMania 4. Hogan beat Savage WrestleMania 5. Warrior beat Hogan WrestleMania 6. Hogan beat Slaughter WrestleMania 7. Macho beat Flair WrestleMania 8. Yoko beat Brett. Hogan beat Yoko WrestleMania 9. That's 7. WrestleMania 10 was Brett over Yoko. That's 8. WrestleMania 12 was Michaels over Hart. That was 9.
Wait,
13.
are we missing a Michaels versus Diesel that Michaels didn't beat him?
Right, but that's a null. That's a null.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. So we're at 8.
So WrestleMania 9. We're at 9.
Okay.
WrestleMania 13 was Sid and Taker. Sid was the champion. Taker beat him, so that brought us to 10. WrestleMania 14 was Austin over Michaels, which brought us to 11. WrestleMania 15 was Austin over Rock, which brought us to 12.
Okay.
WrestleMania 16 was Triple H defending against Big Show, The Rock, and Mick Foley in a fatal 4-way match. Triple H was the Big Show the champion? Fuck.
Big Show
Triple
was
H
never
was the champion.
Yeah, Big Show was never. I don't think
Big Show was WWE champion at one point, but not at this Mania. Triple H walked in with the belt
And walked out.
Yep.
Okay, so that's no exchange.
This was getting close to Golden Shovel time.
Yeah, no. We still have about 7 years before that.
Oh, really? Man, I'm out of the... Don't fucking listen to me for the rest of the time.
17 was Austin and Rock. Was that the title match, Austin and Rock?
That was the title match. That was another one where Rock was the champion and Austin beat him.
Okay, so Rock was the incumbent again. Good. That's 13. 18 was Jericho versus Triple H. Jericho walked in as the undisputed champion. Triple H walked out the undisputed champion. That's 14. 19. WWE Championship was Angle versus Lesnar. Lesnar won the Royal Rumble, so that means that Angle was the champion.
Lesnar won.
Beat Angle, so that's 15.
Okay.
20.
Oh, right. You were there for this.
I was. Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle. Eddie was the champion. Eddie walked out the champion because of the boot maneuver. WrestleMania 21. Cena beat JBL for the title.
Hold on, wait. Go back to the previous one.
20. Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels. No, I'm sorry. Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Right. And that one was not a title change or not a change. Right?
Correct.
Right.
That is accurate. Eddie walked in and walked out with the belt.
Okay.
22. Cena versus Triple H.
That wasn't Cena's first rodeo.
No,
was
I'm
it?
trying to think.
But I don't think Triple H beat him at this point. That was still
he didn't. No, Cena definitely made him tap. I'm just trying to figure out if Cena was the champion or not.
Yeah, that would have been before Triple H's WWE title run. His next WWE title run. So Cena would have went in the champion and left the champion.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah, because he had the spinner belt.
Okay, so we're still at 15 right now.
No, we're 17. Nope. 16. Sorry, because Cena.
Somebody needs to be writing this down.
I was trying to.
I am right now.
Okay.
Cena beat JBL at WrestleMania 21. That was number 16.
Okay, because I was gonna say you lost me because then we were talking about Eddie and Kurt and okay.
Yeah, sorry, that was my bad. I went back to that.
23.
Okay, so we're at 16 so far, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I'm keeping track now on the calculator. Go ahead.
Cena, Big Show, Edge?
No.
23?
No, 23. Wasn't that the one where Triple H was hurt and it was Cena versus Michaels?
Yep.
Because it should have been Triple H.
Cena won.
Right.
Cena walked.
Yeah, Cena went in champion and left champion. So that was not.
All right, so 24, another one of my favorites. This one was Cena, Orton, Triple H.
Yes, it was. Because that was on the world heavyweight title side. That was Edge versus Taker.
That was H.
Right.
H, wasn't it? That year.
What
was that? H walked out.
No, Orton.
No.
Orton won that match.
Oh yeah.
Who was the champion going in?
That would have been Orton.
It wasn't Orton.
That would have been Orton going in as champion and leaving as champion.
Okay, so then that's a null. 25.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was during the age of Orton.
Oh, I was gonna say you guys are in the territory of when I was not watching wrestling.
Yeah,
Cena
that was
hit the FU on Triple H, and then pinned Triple H, and then Orton punt kicked Cena, and I forget who he pinned, but yeah, he won.
Yep.
25.
I think this one was a Triple H versus Orton match.
Sounds right.
I think Triple H was the champ and beat Orton and left the champ.
Okay.
There was not a change there.
All right.
Okay.
10 to go. We're getting there. 26. What title did Edge win? Edge won the world title, so that was neither here nor there.
26, is that whenever Edge beat who the fuck did he beat?
No.
Edge would have been for the world title if he was in it.
I know, but I'm just trying to think who he beat so I can work it out who else was in the title picture on the other side.
Was that a Jericho Edge timeline?
That would have yes.
Or was that Edge Del Rio?
No. That wasn't the WrestleMania
20.
That was like
27?
That was 28.
No, it was 27.
So which one are we on right now?
WrestleMania 26.
All right, so 26. Was that
Wasn't that
Was that an
Batista?
yeah, was that an Orton Batista or Cena Batista?
Cena Batista. That was Cena Batista. That was Cena Batista, wasn't it?
That sounds like it could have been it.
I skip this one all the time.
I think this
it's
was
very lackluster.
Yeah, I think this was a Cena Batista, and I think Batista was the champ, and Cena beat him.
Because this is usually one of the ones we watch on Mania weekends.
No, I don't. I feel like we skipped this one because it's kind of blah. This is where Jack Swagger won the Money in the Bank.
No, this was this is the one. Yeah, this is the one where Swagger won the Money in the Bank because it was also the same event that Randy Orton took on Cody Rhodes and DiBiase. It was the breakdown of Legacy.
Was
then this would have been Cena versus Batista for the title.
I was gonna say, was this was when Swagger won the Money in the Bank? This is the one where it took him damn near forever to unhook it, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
could have been.
We've talked about that one.
I think Batista was the champ going into this one.
Keep machinating. I really gotta go to the bathroom. Sorry, guys.
Okay, you're good.
So I think Batista was the champ in this one, and he faced Cena, and Cena won.
So this would be a title change. Then.
So this would have been a title change.
That's 17.
Yep.
27 was Miz versus Cena, and who was champion? Was Cena champion and Miz beat him? I
think this was Miz. You're right. It was Miz and Cena, but I think it was Miz as champion beating Cena as champion because I think this was the Miz and
The Rock colluding.
No, who was with the Miz at that point? What was that jabronis name?
Alex Riley.
Yeah. So that was that era.
Say it to my face.
So
yeah.
I'm sorry. So was Cena champion or was Miz champion going in?
No, I think Miz was champion going in, and he Cena.
Okay, so then it's a null. 28 was Rock and Cena. And
right, but that was not for the title though.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was just their match. This was a Punk Mania. He was the champion at this one.
Punk Jericho. So he would have beat Jericho.
What Mania are we on? That's what, 29? Oh, 28.
28.
Okay.
And that was a null.
Wait,
yeah, because
are you sure that was the WWE, not the world title?
No, that was the WWE.
Okay, so then that's a null.
Because 28, if I'm not mistaken, that's whenever Edge beat Del Rio, because then Edge had to retire right after he won big gold belt.
Yep. 29 was in New York.
29 was the
Cena
one
twice
and
in a
only,
lifetime.
Yeah, once in a lifetime number 2.
Yeah.
Cena beat The Rock, right, for the title.
Cena and Rock, yeah, and this was the one that The Rock. I think The Rock had beaten Punk before.
No,
was the champion.
Yes.
So yes.
So Rock was going in champion on that one,
and Cena beat him.
Right,
and Cena beat him. Yep. So that brings us up to 18.
WrestleMania 30 was Yeselmania, so we know that belt changed hands there.
Yep.
31 was Lesnar versus Reigns, and Rollins walked out, so that's 20.
No, so wait a minute. We're talking 31. You said that was Lesnar Reigns.
Yes.
Correct.
Lesnar was the champ going in, right?
Yes.
Correct.
And Rollins walked out with the champion.
But did Reigns beat Lesnar?
No.
It was
okay.
Rollins beat Reigns.
Okay.
Yeah, because Rollins cashed in like towards the end of the match, but the match wasn't over yet.
Right.
So 32. That just counts as one. Hold on. So that just counts as one title change. So that brings us up to 20. Correct.
Okay. WrestleMania 32 was Roman Reigns versus Triple H. Roman Reigns beat Triple H for the title. Triple H won the Royal Rumble to win the championship, and Roman Reigns beat him here, right?
Yup.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to make sure I'm right on that the Roman won that match. 33. Was this Orton versus Wyatt? Or was this Lesnar versus Goldberg?
No, that was
That's
Orton.
for the uni. So this was Orton Wyatt. Wyatt walked in the champion. Yeah. Orton walked out. So that's 22.
Yeah, the death of the Swamp Wizard.
Yeah,
if you will.
34, New Orleans.
That was Lesnar Reigns, but that was Universal Championship.
Right.
Yeah. Who the fuck?
WWE wasn't that? This was a year where we had two newbies, right? Wasn't this one Styles and who did he face? It wasn't an old head. It was.
Not
I remember
Nakamura,
it being like,
was it?
Yes, it
was. It Cock Nakamura.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
so
Nakamura.
Nakamura did not win this one.
No.
We're still at 22.
No.
Yeah.
35 was Kofi Mania.
Yep.
That was the WWE title, right? That Bryan had.
Yes, because it was the hemp belt.
Yep. Yeah. So that's 23.
Yep.
And then last year, McIntyre beat Lesnar for the title, for the world title,
that's
for the
20,
WWE title. That's 24.
24. So we're saying 24.
Yes.
Yep, that's got to be it.
I got to go back and reread the question to make sure that I'm just the WWE Championship. Okay, so he was very specific to say WWE Championship. I'm feeling confident. Because there was a few in there.
24 is strong. 24 is a strong number. That feels good.
That is a strong number.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're right on it.
Okay. I just the lull between 22 and 26 where we didn't have any WWE title changes makes me nervous. But I think we're right on with those.
Yeah,
ones,
but just because we didn't just because we didn't have WWE title changes, those could have been world heavyweight title changes around then too.
Right.
So
Right.
All right. So he gave me two answers here. Okay, the correct answer.
Go
All right.
on.
So the correct answer is 26 WWE title changes at WrestleMania.
Really?
How?
I don't know.
He didn't give us specifics?
No, he just says 26 WWE. Initially, he sent an email saying,
I'm going to Google this now that we've answered.
22, and then he said, sorry, the correct answer is 26.
Let me
Wikipedia that bastard and let's figure it out.
Yeah, because I don't trust his math now.
After fact-checking Mr. Vapor, we have determined that not only was he wrong, not only did we beat him and get the correct number, but he tried to trick us in saying that he gave us the wrong answer. So the correct answer, and you can Wikipedia yourself, fans, is 24. We nailed it, as we always do. Vapor, if you think you're getting screwed here, show your work. Because if we're talking just strictly WWE title and WWF title, that's it. So, Mr. Vapor,
we also counted, just to clarify, we also counted the WWE World Heavyweight
Champion.
As the WWE title. So Vapor wasn't counting WWE World Heavyweight Championship. For some reason, if he wasn't counting that, or if he wasn't counting WWE Undisputed.
Well, Vapor actually has 4 additional wins than we do. So he's saying that there are 4 more wins.
Which
that
is
means he would have to count.
Yeah.
He's probably counting side titles.
I was going to say he was probably the Saudi titles.
No, side titles.
Oh, side titles.
Like the Universal or the big gold.
No, and that is not
WWE. The WWE Championship is
the legacy
WWF,
belt.
Yeah, the WWF Championship, then the Undisputed, then the WWE title whenever there was that and the big gold belt, and then the unified WWE World Heavyweight Championship, because now the WWE World Heavyweight Championship is the WWE Championship and the Universal title is the Universal title. So, as we always like to say, Beef, you want to take it away for Vapor here?
I do. And I'll say it again just to make sure that everybody's aware. If you're going to take a swing at the champs, have at it. WrestleMania is my fucking wheelhouse. Every year since the advent of the WWE Network, I've watched WrestleManias from start to finish, back to back to back to back to back to back to back. If you're going to come at me with the WrestleMania question, you better strap on your big boy pants, because between me and these other mooks, we're going to get you. So Dave, buddy, listen close. We appreciate your question, and we want more from you. And I hope you have been bitten by the bug like the bastard pet, because I love saying this to you too. Good day, sir. You lose, and you get nothing.
I'll tell you what. I will say this. I'll give Vapor all the credit in the world. That was a good question. The problem
a very good question.
The problem is, and I think that wasn't. I think that's the thing is, he may have just considered the universal belt in there as well. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever he considered in there, Vapor. I will say this off of the you get nothing. Just a reminder. It was a good question, and we want more questions from you, just like the bastard Pat. Do you guys want to try that question really quick since it's a prop bet?
Yeah.
All right.
And I will say, Vapor, that question would probably have stumped any of us individually, including myself, because there was a run there from about WrestleMania 11 to 19 where I wasn't too sure of myself, and then again from 22 to 27. So individually, you would have had us stumped, but together we are like the fucking Megazord, man.
Megazord.
All right.
I like it. I'm here for it.
All right.
So let me spin on this here. So the Charmed was a CW show, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
So SmackDown was a UPN show. UPN became the CW, yes?
Yep.
I theorize that they're probably SmackDown wrestlers.
I don't think so. I think it's WCW guys.
No, it's SmackDown guys. I know for a fact, as soon as I hear the answer, I know I just heard somebody talking about this recently. I remember hearing something about an episode of Charmed. I swear to God, I just don't remember who it was now for the life of me.
So
I think Bruce Pritchard covered this. I'm an adamant fan of listening to the Bruce Pritchard podcast, and I'm fairly certain that Bruce Pritchard covered this.
okay.
And I'm going to side with Poot on this one. These sound like WCW guys. Now, I don't know when the buyout happened, but just going off of my memory off of the Bruce Pritchard podcast, I'm going to say these three names. Booker T, Scott Steiner, Buff Bagwell. I don't know who was the outside guy and who were the demon wrestlers, but that's my answer for those three guys.
Booker T and Bagwell were going to be two of my answers. I was flopping on the third one. I was going to say DDP, but when you said Scott Steiner, that feels right.
No. I think it was DDP, because I think I was watching the fucking oh my God, the DDP Relentless thing that was on Amazon Prime. And I think he mentioned something about it.
But DDP's been in a lot of other stuff as well. Like he was in No Holds Barred. Like,
yeah.
You know, so I can understand why you would want, and that's why my mind went to DDP as well, because DDP was more present in entertainment outside of the ring. But when he said Scott Steiner, I went, yeah, that feels right. That feels right.
How was the question worded again, Beef? Just out of curiosity.
Charmed episode features an episode where two of the sisters had to wrestle demons, in quotation marks, played by professional wrestlers. There was also a wrestler bodyguard on the outside. Who were the 3 wrestlers featured?
Okay,
in the
so it
episode?
doesn't say WWE wrestlers. It just says
No.
professional wrestlers. Okay.
I think.
So look, since this is a prop bet too, we can always call an audible and say all 4 of us can give our own individual picks and just see what happens.
Sure.
Because I mean it's a prop bet, so we could go that route too. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, I don't care at this point. I mean, because it doesn't count. So
I'm saying Mark Jindrak, Sean O'Hare, and Chris Canyon.
Okay, I'm.
Who better?
No, I'm gonna go with Ransom on this one. I was gonna say DDP, but I'm gonna go Bagwell, Booker T, and Steiner.
Ransom, I assume you're staying pat? You, Ransom.
What about it? I said my 3.
Okay.
Yeah, Booker T, Scott Steiner, and Buffy.
Shit. I don't know. I'm gonna say DDP was in there, so I think Booker T, DDP, and fuck, who was the third one you said there, Ransom?
Steiner or Buff?
Buff. So I'm saying Buff, DDP, and Booker.
Really trying to go outside the box with this question. Hope you lose this one. Guess what, Pat? It wouldn't matter if we did. But we didn't because fucking Ransom.
Yes.
Booker T, Scott Steiner, Buff Bagwell.
Now let me guess. Buff Bag. What does he say? Who is the outside guy?
He doesn't.
I'm gonna say the outside guy's Buff.
I'm gonna say the outside guy is Booker T.
We'll never know unless we find that episode of Charmed. But what we do know, Maniac, you went outside the ballpark. You went outside the fucking time zone. You tried to find something that would ultimately stump the champs, but guess what, pal? You didn't. And so for that, I give you this.
Oh.
Good day, sir. You lose and you get nothing.
Gentlemen, on
I
that
think he pops a
note,
little bit of a boner when he says that.
just a little bit.
Just a tad.
Just
Just a tad.
The tiniest of vindictive boners. The
It's a
gentlemen,
semi.
on that note, I think on this note of us not only getting the bastard Pat's attempt at a question. By the way, I personally like outside the box thinking. That's how innovation happens. So good on you, the bastard Pat. I also want to thank Vapor for that question. That was good because it definitely tickled our giblies because when I thought we were wrong, I was like, oh, damn. But you know what? Fact checking. We did our research and you're going to want to have to go back. And also, if you want to say how many title changes there were at WrestleMania, that would have been a little much. But you said WWE and we followed the rules and we won. And Beef, could you give me one more of those?
I had to hydrate. Mid-card Maniac, the bastard Pat, our buddy in West Virginia.
No,
Vapor.
Yes.
You both get nothing.
Ooh, sultry.
Oh, that was a good one. I felt that in my ear with my headphones. I just want to say we should just wrap this up in a nice little burrito, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I want to thank our sponsors for the P3 podcast out of the gate on this one, Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom. He is our reigning, defending, undisputed Cruiserweight champion. And it seems like he will just keep going. And you know what? I'm starting to believe in the champ. I'm starting to become a believer. I'm not salty anymore. No, I'm not salty. I'm starting to believe. Feel it in my heart. And we want to thank his page, Casual Gaming Dad, and Casual Gaming Dad's Corner on Facebook. You look him up. He does a lot of awesome Let's Plays. We play some Among Us on Tuesday nights as well. He does a lot of live streams. Check him out. Tom, how'd Vector Man go, or haven't you done that yet?
I've not done that yet. That's going to be the Saturday. It's going to go terribly. I have not practiced much at all, and I'm going to lose to the undefeated Jake Rock, who is amazing. But on a happier note, I did finish Metroid Prime 2 today. So
congratulations. There you go. If you hear any of those games, also Vector Man, even though you haven't practiced, not a bad game. Vector Man's fun. It's a little wonky, but it's fun.
I practiced a little bit, but I don't feel confident this week. So thankfully it's a non-divisional, non-conference matchup.
Hey, you never know. You might pull a Ransom and just knock it out of the park.
Maybe.
So I want to thank him. Also, you find him on Twitch and YouTube. That's on Twitch, Casual Gaming Dad 84, and on YouTube, Casual Gaming Dad. And the last time I searched for Casual Gaming Dad, he was the only one to pop up. You'll know him when you see him. It's not Casual Gaming Dad PC. It's just Casual Gaming Dad. Tom does a great job. So thank you, Tom. And we also want to thank Gould Gaming and Casual Gaming Dad Shop for carrying the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast t-shirt. Do yourself a favor and do us a favor and go and buy a Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast t-shirt over on Gould Gaming on Casual Gaming Dad's page, merch page. You buy one, it'll be great. Maybe eventually we'll get that $49.99, you idiots. And we also want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with independent wrestling here in central Pennsylvania primarily. That's IWC as well. There's some IWC events coming up. I always have a link to live events down in the description of YouTube and on Anchor and anywhere you find our podcast. By the way, make sure you subscribe to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast over on YouTube. Again, you search for P3 Podcast or Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. You'll find us just fine. Also, you can find us on Anchor.fm or anywhere that you find wonderful podcasts, whether it be iTunes, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Google Podcasts, tons of places you can find the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. Also want to plug Mr. Alec Ransom over here on his page, Frig Off Ransom. He is one of the funniest people.
Dropped.
So you're just Frig Off?
Nope.
Oh, that's
Ransom's
right. Sorry.
my
Ransom the Madman. You're going to go over to Ransom the Madman, and you're going to look at his page, Frig Off Ransom. As I was saying, he's one of the funniest people I know. He has a natural, innate ability for editing and cutting to just make it the funniest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's amazing. Go check him out. Also, if you would care to, and you don't have to if you don't want, because I've been well behind on posting on my own personal page. You can find Poot the Bard on YouTube. I have some good backlog of Let's Plays I've done, and I have a couple Guitar Gear reviews. And to that one guy who said that I yammer too much blathering, not enough playing. You know what? Suck my ass. It's my channel. I'll do it the way I want.
Well,
That was me. I did.
I know it was absolutely you and your alt account. And just find us on Facebook, do all those things. And you know what? Make sure you take care of yourselves out there. We like to say that for Mr. Beef the Legend over there, our wonderful Wrestlemania professional, Mr. Ransom the Madman. See, I got it right. I changed it. Myself, Poot the Bard, baby, and the best damn Cruiserweight champion there ever has been, Mr. Tiger. Bomb Tom. And by the way, folks, he's going to be going on his championship tour. He's going to be hitting New York. He's going to be hitting California. He's going to be hitting North Carolina. So make sure you say hi to him whenever he goes to those places. Have a wonderful evening. This has been an especially good one.
Let's sucker hat.